Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where every single day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Benjamin Shahin on the line, and he's CEO over at Allyus. Benjamin, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
So I'm excited to get into what you're doing over at Allyus, but before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career?
So I studied my BA in Corporate Social Responsibility and my MA in Politics and Government, and that was in Israel, where I then drafted into the Army and saw, the conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis, and I wanted to create a solution that would allow them to communicate with each other in a more impactful way and hopefully prevent violence. Now, understanding that the best market to launch this solution was the United States, I adapted it to United States politics, and now I'm launching it here. And the goal is simply to help, democracies around Western democracies around the world to better understand, in real time what the public is thinking without having to resort to, infighting and potentially violence.
I think that's actually a really great transition. Let's just jump right into Allyus. So tell us a little bit more about the company, the vision, how you started it. Let's just jump it in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to create something like, which is best described as LinkedIn for politics, where the goal would be to empower citizens and give politicians tools for better decision making. So the main tools are, opinion polls, and under each one, you would have demographic data that would show you, the location, the constituency, what they were thinking basically on any policy issue in real time. That way you could understand what people around you were thinking instead of having to turn on the news and listen to, what is usually a biased narrative. Now, the problem is that current social networks like, Twitter or Facebook provide very low organic reach to politicians because of the variety of content in the feed. And this prevents them from getting their message out. And in most cases, they're forced to pay thousands of dollars in ads to do so during their campaigns. So what it really is on the business side is a campaign engine that will allow politicians to save thousands of dollars of ad spend by providing 100% organic reach, but also providing it to the people that matter the most in a location-based manner, which is their voters.
So I love the concept. I love what you're doing, and it makes so much sense. And when I read the pitch for your show, I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes sense. It's like, no offense, but unless a politician has, especially let's not even talk about local politics, but unless somebody has a really good sized budget and they're willing to, just really flush it down in terms of social media, other things like that, like you're never going to see an ad or hear a message or anything else from a politician, other than maybe some news story that is being put in front of you for a certain reason, and maybe it's not from either of the politicians. It could be from a whole another interest group that's in there trying to sway voter decisions. So I love the idea of having a location-based, nonpartisan political social network. I mean, to me, it's pretty groundbreaking. What kind of feedback have you gotten from like the users, from people that you've kind of brought on board so far?
So far we have about a dozen politicians signed up, and they have some concerns, regarding anonymous profiles basically coming on and trolling their posts. Maybe they're not even their voters, and it's very hard for them to tell whether or not they should, respond to these issues, similar to how, they don't like responding to online petitions. And the idea is I partnered with a company called Civic to use blockchain verification that allows users to verify their profiles with Face ID and biometrics, and therefore prove that they're a real person. And the location-based tool allows them to know that the voter is from within their constituency. So the users like it because it allows them to be anonymous, but the politician likes it because even though, I'm very against the selling of personal data and I'm protecting personal data, they can still see the larger demographics within their constituency without knowing it's the exact person, which is kind of why Cambridge Analytica had such a big problem, was because they were invading personal privacy, whereas I'm protecting the privacy but still trying to provide a similar value.
Wow, that's amazing. And so what's new for 2020? So I know you're raising some seed capital. You have some other projects going on. So tell us a little bit more about that, please.
Absolutely. So the goal right now is to create this, targeting and reach feature, but the real build here is a political dashboard, and the political dashboard is going to show you all that data analytics. It's going to show you the location, and it's going to allow for other companies to also be offered through that dashboard, which we would be taking a referral fee from. We also run a donation model through that dashboard, and there would be an ad revenue model, which would be politically agnostic potentially, which would allow us to differentiate ourselves from what currently exists. And in order to build out those paid features, to continue building them, we would like to raise about $500,000, and we're looking to do that in the next couple of months so that we could scale up and be relevant for 2020 and for the upcoming election.
Are you crowdfunding at all, or is this individual investors? Like, what kind of where should investors that are or potential investors that are listening to this, where should they follow up and learn more, not only about the platform, but also about possibly getting involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just quickly add that sadly I have been speaking to a lot of investors that want to only work with either Republican tools or Democrat tools. So I'm looking for people who want to just help America become stronger and stop the left hand from fighting the right and focus more on building a healthy democracy. If you'd like to reach me, I can be reached at info@allyus.org. So Allyus would be spelled ALLYUS.org. And I'd be happy to answer any questions and discuss the business model further with anybody who'd be interested.
Man, I love it. I love what you're doing. I mean, it's a huge undertaking what you're working on. I mean, when I think about like the task you have in front of you, obviously nothing's easy in business, but if you can pull this off and you get, widespread adopted support, I mean, it's absolutely amazing what you can do to achieve that bigger goal. And I love your vision for this. It's a big, big vision, and it's exciting to me because I want to see this thing prosper. So I'm obviously happy to continue to help you get the word out in any way we can over here. Thanks again, Benjamin. I really appreciate you coming on the show, sharing more about your background, but also all the great work you're doing over at Allyus. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Money Matters Top Tips. Leave us some comments over there. Do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Benjamin, thanks again for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.